Not an awful lot in this. Yes, we certainly don't know the way Treviso turned up. They've obviously had a period of evolution. We can only learn certain things about what we tried to put together, and clearly we're pleased in outcome and getting an early bonus point. But then we're under no illusion that we're disappointed. We sort of flatlined, and the game, died for us for a 20-minute period where we give them a couple of cheap ins to the game, and some of their lively runners caused us problems. We started to then get individual in defence. And sort of gave them encouragement to play, and that was clearly not our intention. Although with some good crowd backing, it was pleasing to see a fairly vocal Liberty tonight trying to support us, and we came back strongly at the end. So finally we had boys coming off the bench, and we managed to exert some pressure to finish the game.
In a way, was it the right sort of fixture for you to start with, Griff, and that you could blow away some of the cobwebs?
Yeah, to a certain degree. As I said, they're in a period of evolution. They've played some local sides, so sometimes the intensity of the league and what we can bring as well in terms of the physicality we try and exert on sides. It was a nice little bit of momentum for us to take to probably clearly far greater challenges starting next week.
Griff, I guess it will be a bit tougher, don't it, the Dragons?
Yeah, without question. Traditionally, it's been a place where perhaps perceived stronger Ospreys sides have come unstuck. So for us, we are probably going there as underdogs. They've had a strong summer, recruited well. As I said, we won't read too much into tonight. I think next week there'll be a clearer barometer of where we are, and we're relishing that, looking forward to going there and showing again what these young guns can do.
Is it a bit of a new feeling for the Ospreys going in with underdog status into some games this season after the last few years where, of course, you've had so many big names going through the ranks?
Yeah, it is, but I think for us it's just been a process we've been involved with. We've seen the latter half of last year, your Nicky Smiths, your Dan Bakers, and we've seen it before with people like Sam Lewis, James King, Lloyd Piers. They've been sort of coming through the production for 18 months, 2 years, so it's just a spin-off of that really, and we've always been enthused by these boys' talents, and clearly it's at the optimum time for us because of what we've lost, and we've just got to follow through what we've invested developmentally and back it to succeed.
Do you think the supporters will be patient though at times this season?
I think they'll need to be at times. We certainly won't get that sort of evening on a regular basis because of the league we're in, and with young players you tend to see ups and downs. It's certainly not a linear process, and it can be frustrating at times, and we'll see that by losing certain experienced players, but the challenges for us is to go to different places and try and get results, and that's one for next week.
And what's the process of reintroducing players over the next few weeks? Alan Jones was rested, you've got one or two boys out injured.
Yeah, we'll discuss it again over the weekend, and we are taking it on a week-by-week basis, talking to the medical staff, the conditioning staff, and it's weighing up. As a rugby coach, I'm not going to deny I'd love a couple of those boys straight in the mix for Rodney Parade, but sometimes you've got to weigh up the long term for the player themselves, us managing our season, and trying to work with the player and our national partners, for the betterment of their game as well, and big things around the corner.
Alan Jones likely to feature next week, or is there an awareness of his maximum number of games for the season and so on?
We haven't discussed maximum number of games. We just take it on a basis of what he's done in the summer and where he may fit this block of work at some point, but we haven't taken those discussions any further till probably the wee hours tonight.
Griff, how much did the substitutions affect you?
You could argue it to a little degree. We stagnated from it, but if you look at it, it was just a cheap turnover from a poorly executed line-out play, and then suddenly defensively we're just on the back foot, so we couldn't get probably the Hannos, the Morgan Allens. They're the guys you want off the bench making impacts. Sam Parry as well on the ball in other areas. It took a while to get to that, but we did in the last quarter, so even though we stagnated to a certain degree, again we came through at the back end of it.
Rees Webb going off at half-time, what was the situation there?
He just had a slight knock, so we were cautious there, and our medical team are pretty confident that again just taking the precautionary measures means that he should be fit and well to get a good training weekend.
And in terms of his return to action and that of Eli Walker after long-term injuries, what was your assessment of them?
Yeah, pleasing. We've got Webby moving early on. We've got him out challenging defenders. He kicked and found space pretty effectively. Defensively as well, he's starting to build a relationship with Dan Evans. So that's really important to us. And I think it was a good solid 14 minutes of work, capped off with an opportunist try, which he tends to pick up. And likewise, Eli. We were really happy with what he put on the park. A couple of errors notwithstanding, but knowing what he's come from, we were pleased with the productivity there. It's just the game, as it was, dying to a certain degree. Also, Eli's involvement was decreasing. And for us, that was perhaps a sign that he's had enough, and then we need to get some fresh legs on who can perhaps come and play a different role for us.
But a couple of players there that you'd certainly look to be forcing their way back into the Wales squad then.
Yeah, they've clearly got that potential. They've been involved with it over the last year or so. But I think it's for a lot of the players about trying to pick up momentum in an Osprey shirt now, and looking forward to what we can do with this next block of work.
Griff, were you pleased with Nicky Smith?
Yeah, he's picked up a man of the match there, and I think he's followed on from good form at the end of last year. He nailed down the shirt, with some real effective performance for us. He's enjoys the set piece, especially the scrum battle, and I think that came through today. He had a good little tussle there in some of the scrums early doors, and then you start to see a little bit more of him as well, start to pop up and take a good try. He did fatigue, and that's something, again, considering we've brought him back after exertions over the summer with a Junior World Cup. So again, like all our players, he's another player we've got to consider the physical load, managing him at certain points of the season.
Looking forward to the Dragons, guys like Lee Byrne and Ian Goff, who've worn Ospreys shirts in the past. I'm sure they'll be looking to assure a warm welcome for you.
Yeah, they're canny operators. You look at what they brought in, and I watched them up in Eugene Cross Park last week, and I was really impressed. Structurally, they're in a good place, and you can just hear the chain of communication and enthusiasm that runs through the team. But they're also set up structurally to be probably more effective than they've been, with some young talent to sort of complement some of those old fellas. So it's an exciting mix they got.
Yeah, Griff, another top effort from Dan Baker.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we make no secret of the fact we try and get him and some of our more physical and athletic players on the ball as much as we can, and he rewards that with some footwork and beating defenders. A couple of times he frustrated us, and I think he's got to find out where the try line is at some point, because there was a couple there for him. And defensively as well, he still makes the odd erratic read, so we've got to keep working and sharpening up how he sees things from the defensive side of the game.